Views expressed in the videos are my observation, analysis of events, persons based on principles of astrology. It's not my intent to predict, forecast absolute outcomes, only suggest how they may unfold. Nothing is set in stone. I could be wrong, but often I'm right. My desire is not to promote fear, only inform about what we see unfolding. It is our wish to prepare our subscribers for events that could affect them, their family, their goals, and their future, to help to prepare for what you may already feel suspect is happening, and to send a warning shot across the bow and raise a flag of concern. Our goal is to help, not hinder, in these perilous times, to inspire and offer possible direction, and to reveal that a greater plan and purpose are behind all that is happening. Eventually, we will see a brighter day. If you would like to show your appreciation for our work on these videos or this channel, and also the Knowing Whispers channel, you can always click on the word thanks at the bottom of all the videos. Hello everybody, it is Robert Cosmar of the Astrology for Those Awakening YouTube channel, and also the Wisdom for Those Awakening YouTube channel. This morning I am doing a special video due to the fact that the government has shut down. And I'm sure that there are many amongst us in the country that are concerned about what this shutdown is going to do to the services that the government has provided for us, particularly if you're retired or you're elderly and you're on Social Security. From what I understand, those main services should not be affected in the immediate future. But other services, lower grade services, so to speak, could be shut down. A lot of people laid off and different things like that. And as I saw this unfolding, I realized some things that I had seen in the horoscope of the United States of America that could give some explanation for this. So I want to spend some time talking about what you're seeing here on your screen. The chart of the USA, and then the current transits as they are unfolding in Washington, D.C. Now, as I've said many times in doing videos of the chart of the USA, you cannot put 100% stock in the actual time of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. This was kind of a hearsay thing, but because of what we see happening right now and what I'm going to be talking about, it does lead some credibility to the timeline here, okay? And I want to approach this with two sides, okay, to look at. One, obviously, is the side that will be most troubling for most people because of what it could imply. And then for those of you that are already in the process of awakening, this should further give you some credence to what is happening within inside of you. Okay, and I'll get into that here in a little bit. The main thing here to understand about this chart is down here close to the nadir at 1 degree, okay, of Aries, and the closeness of Neptune to the nadir in the USA chart. Now, in the USA chart, the 10th house, of course, rules the government. It rules basically big business, all of those things that have to do with the structure of the United States of America, business-wise, government-wise. And while the 10th house itself pretty much does with the structure of government, it is the 9th house that deals with policies, political policies, religion, the legal system to a certain degree. And the important thing to understand here is that Neptune itself, if you understand the basic nature of Neptune in terms of how things evolve, Neptune is called the dissolver. It dissolves form. It's what unexpectedly at times causes what we were certain was always going to be a certain way to all of a sudden in front of our eyes evaporate. Okay? And whenever that happens, of course, it can create a lot of emotions, a lot of feelings, vulnerability, a sense of what are we going to do, this type of thing. And in that sense, it can over affect our imagination. In other words, we have a tendency, because of the fear that it triggers, to over imagine things that in all likelihood probably will not happen, but could happen to a certain degree. So what this represents here, with Neptune going into the fourth house, and of course this could already be happening, possibly have been happening for months, but it's come to a head right now. This is the dissolving of the American way of life. And this is going to take some time here, because Neptune goes very slowly through houses. It could be up to 7 years, I think, maybe a little longer than that. But what it represents, because the fourth house is essentially the American people, okay, the lifestyle of the American people, is a gradual changing, dissolving of what we have believed, what we have lived by, for, in my case, for the majority of our life. All right. Now, before you freak out because of what I just said, there is something here as well that probably will restrict the capacity of Neptune to do severe damage, at least hopefully. Saturn, of course, and Neptune have been hugging one another for several months. Saturn has to do with form and structure. All right. Saturn is going to follow Neptune into the fourth house. To my mind, to my understanding, okay, what I feel is that whatever Neptune initially triggers, like a government shutdown, okay, Saturn is going to come behind that relatively soon and put a halt to it, or to slow it down. All right. Saturn and Neptune both in the fourth house relative to the American people is not a very comforting situation, because you still have Neptune's impact, right? But you do have Saturn. But Saturn can also bring in hardship, difficulties, challenges, okay? And all of this happening, the purpose behind all of this is to realize the extent to which, as individuals, we must assume more responsibility for our lives. That we have to decide what our future is going to be, and not rely as much on the government taking care of us or bailing us out. All right, now, how does this turn into a positive? For those of you that are aware and awake, you've been hearing this for several years. You're hearing it from me now on the channel. We are in the process of a massive evolutionary conscious awakening, which, if it fully evolves us, is going to lead us into understanding powers and abilities that we have had hidden consciously within us, because we were so tied up in knots by the programming of youth, by the belief structures of religion and politics. Okay, so on the good side, this entire process here further motivates those of us that are awakening to stay the course. Okay, because you're not going to be able to make sense out of the things that you see happening. All right, and there will be those that will not let go of the fear and in their imagination of the worst that could happen. And this will impact the violence that has recently here begun to pop up more and more and more. Don't be surprised, okay, if you see a large upswing, okay, in violence in all areas, in all sectors across the country. All right, because for those that have not found any meaning to these changes that are going on, and those that want to put the blame solely upon Donald Trump, okay, you are neglecting to deal with the fear that you carry within you. And this fear is what everything that is happening is all about. It's that you come to terms with your fear, your self-doubt, okay, your feelings of being disemboweled power-wise, of not being able, okay, to have any control in a sense over your destiny. All right. And of course, this is not pleasant, mentally, emotionally, it is not pleasant. The imagination, in a lot of cases, will run wild with this, and people will suffer. All right. Because we are in a cycle of evolutionary change and rebirth, and it is not going to change. Okay. It is not going to change. Again, as Saturn goes into the fourth house, whenever it does, this should bring some stability to the disruption going on. But for the time being, obviously the shutdown is going to bring a tremendous amount of anxiety, because you're going to wonder, what government services are being affected. And is this going to impact your Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, any other government services that you have? Be a tremendous amount of pressure on both political parties, on the White House, okay? But behind the scenes, as hard as this is to understand, behind the scenes, understand that this is something which the universe is allowing for a very important purpose. And hopefully you can see that, okay? Hopefully you understand that. Okay, that's pretty much what I wanted to cover this morning. I know it's not absolutely the most pleasant thing, but at least it gives you some kind of an understanding and an explanation for why this is happening at this particular time. And hopefully this will be of some comfort to all of you, okay, that are watching this particular channel. Okay. All right. Now, for those of you who have been with me on Sunday morning on the Wisdom for Those Awakening Conscious Knowledge broadcast, next Sunday, the title, the focus of the teaching that I'm going to be dealing with in that class has to do the mystery of I am, the mystery behind the meaning of I am. I'm going to talk extensively about what that means consciously, spiritually, how that fits into all of the stuff that you see going on, the awakening process. Okay, I'm going to try to crystallize that for you so that you understand where we're headed, okay, in this process of spiritual awakening. All right, so keep that in mind. And if you haven't had a chance to be a part of those live streams, for the next several weeks, I'm going to be broadcasting on both YouTube channels, Facebook and LinkedIn, so you can catch the classes on any of those 4 channels. And it'll be well worth your while to join me there. And you can chat with me when I open the class for any questions that might be on your mind. And I think we'll have a good time. So I hope to see you at 10 o'clock a.m. and it should be Eastern Daylight Time, I think. I have to check and see exactly when we go into Eastern Standard Time again. But that's what we're working on. Now, also some of the particular videos I'll be doing in the coming weeks, I'm going to do one. I actually was going to do one on the gentleman who was assassinated here recently, and talk about his impact upon America. I may still do that. I don't know if I'll do it this week, but there's other things here. I want to do one on Comey and his situation with the Department of Justice, him being indicted. Some more, of course, will come with Donald Trump when it seems necessary in the United States chart. And I may even toss some things in with Gavin Newsom and also Kamala Harris and what the possibilities are for 2028 if there is, an election. Okay, I think I'm finally done. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to sharing more with you, not only in terms of world events, but also in regards to conscious awakening and the further process of evolution that we're going through. So I hope that you have a great week ahead. Okay, this is Wednesday, and that things very quickly get resolved here for all of us in regards to the government shutdown. Thanks for watching.